It's great, isn't it?
Impressive. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about it. And you know the bow that she does? That was
fact that she did the
improvised.
same bow.
And it's like, it's because...
It's
oh,
incredible. I can't wait.
It's too good.
It means that she's probably related. Hello, welcome back to CDMPTV. I'm Saul.
I'm Wiki.
I'm Izzy.
And today we're finally talking about the Hunger Games. It's been a long time in the making.
Obsessed. I can't, like, I just binged it. I've watched all 4 of them in like a day, and it was kind of an issue, but
it sounds like a very good day.
it was so good.
It's a very good day. So the Hunger Games, it's post-apocalyptic, it's in a dystopian future. Basically, after global warming and a bunch of natural disasters, the sea level's risen and all that's left of the Earth's surface is what used to be a section of North America, now known as Pan Am. It was divided into the districts and the capital didn't treat the districts very nicely. How did the districts react to that, Wiki?
Not well, not great.
Not well?
No, turned kind of murderous.
Murderous.
I would describe it.
That is
I mean,
all murder.
Yeah, I mean, they had a rebellion. They lost the rebellion, and then as a result of that, there was a thing called the Treaty of Treason,
Yes.
where the Hunger Games was signed into law, and the rest is history. And a lot of dead children across
I think
a lot of
many.
years.
I looked at it. It's like
So many dead kids.
1,300 or something.
It's a lot.
75 years, 12 kids each year, apart from the
Th-
quell.
11.
23 dead kids a year,
Oh.
apart from Katniss and Peter's
Yeah.
year where they had 2, then
Yeah.
Hamich's year where there was twice the tributes.
Oh.
A lot of dead kids.
It's a lot of dead
Lot of
kids.
dead
It gets. The more I think about it, the darker it gets. This is like a teen franchise. Like teens enjoy this franchise.
I
It's
don't
like
understand.
it's a dark concept
I
for what was
know.
it, PG-13?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
I
dead
don't
kids for
understand how
PG-13.
it's like a young adult book and like a young adult film. It's not.
It's not.
It's dark.
It's
it's a
it
bit
gets,
of an
it gets
issue.
really dark. It's
Yeah.
really sad.
Oh.
So yeah, should we get into some actual specific details?
Let's.
So we mentioned before the districts and the capital. The country's split into the districts which are poor and basically slave labour. They each have an area that they specialise in, whether it's coal mining, lumber, technology, whatever it may be. And then there's the capital, which benefits from all their work and is rich and treats them poorly and sends the kids off to the Hunger Games.
Yeah. The
And that-
districts that are closer to the capital, like 1 and 2 and stuff, they are less poor than the other districts.
Yeah.
Mainly because they fund the capital's wealth,
Mhm.
kind of. So like District 1's like luxury goods and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're the most important to the
Yeah, so
to the
they
capital.
they're not as rich as the capital
No.
because no one is, but they're quite close, and obviously
Yeah.
they've got what are the tributes called that are from there?
the careers.
Yes, and they like train specifically to send them there because they
Mhm.
want to win. They
Yeah.
like spend their childhood doing that, which
Mhm.
is weird.
I mean, yeah, the districts are definitely meant to be like representative of the working class,
Yes.
whereas the capital's the upper class, the middle class. Like, there's like definitely like a binary opposite
Yeah.
in play there between the district and the
haves
capitals.
have-nots.
Yes, the haves and
Mm.
have-nots. Although, as we're about to learn in the upcoming film, not all the halves actually have.
No.
But they
No
pretend to.
spoilers yet though.
No spoilers yet, we'll get there. So yeah, the capital, it's very different from the district, the working class lifestyle, those who are struggling to survive essentially, struggling to not starve in the streets. Whereas in the capital, they're spewing up their food to eat more of it.
Oh,
Quite literally.
I can't, like, it's just, what?
It is, it's awful.
No.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like the capital is it's very different to what we expect in our society now, never mind what the districts expect.
Yeah.
With things like the costume design, like the costume design in the capital it's bizarre.
It is.
It's really, really
but in
weird.
like a kind of iconic way.
Yeah, like
it's
very Met Gala, isn't it?
Oh,
It is.
And have you seen like this year they're comparing all the looks to
Doja
like
Cat.
the Hunger Games? It's so
Doja
good. I
Cat.
love it.
But did you know the dress that Effie Trinket wears, the butterfly dress, that is actually from an Alexander McQueen collection?
Oh,
What?
that's so cool.
I mean, it's so strange. Just everything in terms of the set design, the costume, all of the mise en scène in these films, especially when you're in the capital, it's
Especially during the raping. The
especially
first
Yeah.
raping when you
Yes.
see Effie in her bright pink dress.
And it like contrasts against the crowd of people who are all in like desaturated colours,
Yeah.
and they're just like a big group. They've just massed them together.
It is
It's really,
bizarre to
when
look
you
at.
see the behind the scenes footage, that's when it really stands out how much
Mhm.
actually the colour grading impacts it and how much
Yeah.
they desaturated the District 12 especially.
Yeah, because it is meant to be the poorest of the poor.
Yeah.
It's
Like you can see
really
like
rough in
Katniss's
12.
house compared to like where she lives in the capital when she's
Mhm.
training. It's like crazy. 'Cause
It
they've
is.
got all this technology and like in the districts there's just nothing.
in the districts they're back to like boiling water to have a
Yeah.
bath, whereas in the capital they have showers with like different scented waters that can come out of any direction.
It's interesting, you mentioned Katniss's house, even within the districts, not only capital versus district, there's also that class divide within districts themselves,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which you see throughout the scene where Katniss lives and where Peter lives, which is like the merchant section. You can just see the proper difference
yeah.
between how there is.
a big difference, even just in the district,
Yeah,
isn't it?
like even with the wider society, there's like littler societies
Mhm.
within it. It's crazy. It's so complex.
It is, and the way that they separate even just the merchant and the seam within District 12, it does create a divide, but then it also has this overarching idea of, yes, but the capital is still in charge. The capital can still attend any of us to the Hunger Games if they really want to.
And that's
It's-
what that little district class divides distracts you
Yeah,
from the fact that the capital is the real villain.
it does. So yeah, it's very different in the capital, like we've said. Definitely in terms of costume design, but even in terms of culture.
Yeah.
I mean, the capital is almost like a warning towards what we could be headed to, in terms of the fact that the Hunger Games is basically, like, when you really simplify it down, is a reality TV show, a survival show, it's drama, it has a talk show leading up to it. I mean, we're slowly becoming desensitized to the things we see on screen
Yeah.
anyway. Things are having to become more ridiculous as you go on.
I feel like you could probably link it to like hypodermic needle theory,
Mhm.
and it's just like everyone's just watching it and no one's questioning, maybe this is wrong. Like maybe
Yeah.
we shouldn't be killing all these
Yeah,
children.
it's-
Like no one questions it. They just kind of passively just consume it.
Yeah, it's cultivation theory as well.
Yeah.
Like they're being presented with it over and over again. And eventually,
They're just like,
it's just let's
it's
go
on,
watch.
love that.
Let's go watch some kids get murdered. It's like it's
The desensitization.
yeah, and it really
and
shows
how-
almost how passive the audience is
Yeah.
in the sense of they just accept it.
Like
over
especially
time.
the capital, they're like actively enjoying it,
Mhm.
and at this point, everyone in the districts, because it's been like 75 years, everyone's just like, well, there it is again. Let's
Mhm.
go watch it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot to be said about the people of the capital, especially their views on gender norms, and by extension, you can infer sexuality, even though it's never really explicitly stated, as far as I'm aware. Like in terms of the outfits that you see men and women wearing, the colours that they wear, the roles that they have. But ultimately, there's still a male president. Like,
Yeah.
ultimately.
like you can look as deep into it as you want, but there's always going to be that tie back to reality.
Patriarchy will never die.
I find it
Unless you get
interesting
an axe
that like
involved.
In the second one, when Peter announces the baby, everyone's
Mhm.
like, "Oh no, we can't send her in."
Yeah.
But like, oh, you can kill like one child. That's fine. But like two, well,
You can't
you
kill
can't kill a
23
child in
kids a
one
year, but once there's a kid
who's not a
that
kid
hasn't
yet.
been born yet, that's
Oh
when you need to
no,
protect.
you can't
There's
do that.
it's definitely
No.
a commentary in modern day
Yes, it
America
is.
there.
Oh,
It's a very confusing time.
isn't it?
The news is horrifying. Don't watch it. You
No.
don't need to know anything. Just live in your
Be
happy
happy.
bubble.
Just blissful
Ignorance
ignorance.
is bliss.
Ignorance is
Yes.
bliss.
Oh.
Well, I guess that kind of has almost an
That's
spin
what they
into
told
the
the
Hunger Games.
capital. That's what they
Yeah.
told the capital.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I mean, there's the SNL
Think-
skit of where it's the post-Hunger Games talk with Katniss and Peter, and then one of the interviewers ask, "Have you had a chance to speak to the other tributes? How do they feel about you winning?" And he has to explain to them, "Well, they're dead. That's how the Hunger Games work." And it kind of is
Oh.
like, that is a prime example of ignorance is bliss. And yes,
Yeah.
it's SNL. It's all played up for the laugh, but there is definitely something to be said there.
Yeah, realistically, the people in the capital, I don't think they get how serious it actually is. That's just
No.
to them, it is just reality
It's
TV.
just a game.
It's like, oh, that's my favourite thing. It's on once a year. It's like our equivalent of like I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
is.
literally.
I mean, Catching Fire is I mean, if you've seen the new I'm a Celebrity show, it's just they've watched Catching Fire and made it I'm a Celebrity version.
I'm like, yeah.
It's what it
that'll
is. Like, you take the winners and the
do. Yeah.
it is crazy. Like, I'd almost say like this. It shows how big of an impact these films have, because I 100% believe that someone has watched Catching Fire and decided to make I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah.
South Africa.
Yeah.
I think.
That's where they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Australia. Like.
Yeah, nothing is.
Anyway.
So yeah, I mean, the capital lifestyle is very different, even down to like the names.
yes.
I mean, Wiki, this is
Capital-
really where you
This is
shine.
where my classics education shines. The capital names are often inspired by figures, historical figures you'll see pop up in Roman history. For example, Seneca Crane, who was inspired by Seneca the Younger,
I
who
should
was
know that. I do classics. I never considered that.
in second year.
You'll never miss it now, though.
Oh, great.
He was advisor to Emperor Nero, I believe. And then Nero decided to have him killed.
Oh.
Not explicitly have him killed, but he was forced into committing suicide.
Much like Seneca
much
Crane.
like Seneca Crane.
Who knew? That's good. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's actually.
And there's the symbolism of them eating the berries in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
it is the punishment for your actions. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, the Hunger Games itself revolves around symbols, semiotics, in terms of
Well,
Every-
the
like,
Mockingjay
every
in
aspect-
itself.
the Mockingjay, the Mockingjay, just fire itself, like the girl on fire. She saves a lot of
Smells
lives
roses.
and so can fire, but fire can also be very, very dangerous.
Yes.
As you know, if you meet her in an arena, you've got to run far and run fast and hide.
You
So
see,
she
I
gets an
find
arrow
it
in her bow, you're
interesting.
dead.
In the like later films, when she kind of becomes just like a propaganda tool
Mhm.
for District 13, that realistically, like the dictatorship will never end.
Yeah,
Like even like she's like, okay, well here's a new leader. Oh no, she's a dictator.
that
as
was.
well.
I mean,
well,
it said something about one of Plutarch's big things was that he's worried about
yes.
humanity repeating itself. He believes that humanity is destined to live its life on a loop, destined to repeat itself.
Well, that
And we see
That
that,
worked out.
snow falls and Coin wants to bring
like,
back the
bring
Hunger
back
Games
the Hunger Games, you know,
and
that caused all the problems.
become
we'll do
a
it
dictator
again.
itself. Yeah,
Woo.
it's
Honestly.
it does confirm Plutarch's biggest fears.
Yeah.
Because I think we should talk about Katniss as a protagonist, and
You see,
My beloved.
she's fantastic.
I love that she's like
she's
the
the Propian
hero.
She's the Propian hero.
And, like,
She's the
I like
Propian
that
prince.
Peter's the Propian princess.
Peter's the
I love
Propian
him.
princess.
Bless him, he's so cute. He's just adorable with his bread.
He is.
Oh.
He's named after bread.
Oh my god.
His name is bread.
Oh.
It's fantastic. I love it. I mean, Katniss's name is also very.
Katniss roots, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to read this because it's so deep that I can never remember it off the top of my head. The Katniss plant has nourishing roots and is also known as arrowhead. It belongs to the genus Sagittaria, and the constellation of the same name, Sagittarius, is also known as the Archer. I mean, that is
Oh.
that's layers. That
And Sagittarius is a fire sign.
Oh,
Sagittarius
your
is a
astrology
fire
people.
sign. I don't know what that means. I didn't know that fire signs were a thing, but
You know, like
astrology.
fire and earth and
Water,
air and
air.
water.
yeah, the elements. I just didn't know that the constellations had them.
Just uncultured
They're
soul.
stars.
That's what you are.
Anyway, yeah, it's just
Tangent
so
aside.
complex. It's like nothing is accidentally done in this. It's so good.
Suzanne Collins
Suzanne-
put so much in
She's
the
a
end.
genius, and I
Yeah.
love her with my whole heart.
You see,
Mhm.
and speaking of fire, there's like connotations of
There
it.
is.
It's like very dangerous.
Yeah, we
and
mentioned
like
it
she
before,
is, and it's
how-
just
Yeah, I mentioned it before how Katniss is like fire. She's dangerous,
Yeah.
but she also saves a lot of lives.
yeah.
Because that's like there's a lot of symbolism put into these things, and like you mentioned the roses as well. didn't you?
Yeah, it's interesting that fire, usually something rather negative and dangerous,
Mhm.
contrasted with Snow's white roses, you know, flowers, pretty, beautiful, white, purity.
Mhm.
But here it's just reversed. The white roses, especially through Katniss's point of view, they're a symbol of death, they're a threat.
Yep.
There's something dangerous to be feared.
Yeah, for the beauty of the rose is still the danger of the thorn. It's.
Very poetic song.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
Wow.
Thank
I'm
you.
impressed.
I'm proud of that.
Don't think anyone expected that from me.
No.
Is that supposed to be? No one expected that
I've
from
seen many
you.
episodes of this, and I've never seen you do
I
poetry.
am very good with my English language
Okay.
that I dropped the second I could
Oh,
because I wasn't very good at it. So yeah,
That's a good
should we?
person.
Do we want to keep going through any names, or do we want to move on?
I think we can move on.
I think we should move on.
We've got the point down.
Yes, we have definitely got the point down. So we've been talking about President Snow. Very, very bad man. Leaves a lot of people with a lot of long-term issues.
yes. A lot of
Um,
trauma
there
caused
is.
by that man.
There's a lot of trauma, and the films don't go into as much detail as the books,
Yeah.
but there's a focus on disability, especially mental, within the
Mm.
franchise,
yeah.
one way or another, whether it's alcoholism, addiction. We see that with morphine, the inward drug, which
yes.
going to see a bit more of a highlight on in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but it is mentioned, especially the morphlings in the Catching Fire.
Yes, and there's that guy in District 13. I don't remember what they're called. You know, when they have no tongue.
The Avoxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, what are you doing that for?
Yeah,
The Capitals, they're just mental.
Yep.
They're crazy.
it is. It is awful.
And then there's like all the mental things that they're doing, like to the tributes.
Yes.
Like even after they win, they haven't won.
It's just PTSD.
It's,
It's
like,
such
crazy.
severe
Because they're like
PTSD.
selling them
Yeah.
realistically.
Yeah, I mean, prominent character which doesn't actually get that much attention, do you know, is Annie. And her
Oh.
PTSD is crippling to the point where Mags had to volunteer to go in the games because Annie was going to be less used than Mags.
Yeah.
Mags could at least like point to where Peter was going to drown.
Yeah.
I think Annie would have been curled up in a ball on a podium if she hadn't jumped off early just to get it over with.
Yeah.
Like, she wouldn't have made it out.
But they were such a good like foursome. They were so cute. You know, the
Yeah.
classic friend group.
Yeah.
You've got the awesome one with the bow and the bread boy and the old
Bread
woman.
The bread boy.
Has
and
my
you
heart.
know the hot one.
The hot
Finnick.
one, yeah. I mean, I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Finnegan himself is a very interesting character, and we've
Yes.
mentioned his looks, which the fact that we've just said that there,
I
it's
know,
a,
we're
it's a
going
key
on-
example
we
of
are
like
proving the
it's
stereotype.
the female girls, isn't it? It's
Yes.
it's the sexualization, but that's what it's half his character in world is that
You don't need
he's
to shout so.
sorry, I can't help myself. I get excited.
We all
Um,
do. It's Finnick. We're all
Half his
thinking
character, exactly, it's Finnick. Half his character in narrative in the world is that he's sexualized. He's
Yeah.
literally put into prostitution by Snow because he owns them. It is a dictatorship.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess there's an argument that Katniss and the rebellion is almost like an argument for Marxism.
Hmm.
Like they're going against the capital first of all,
Yeah.
but then they're also going against the idea that what they get goes off to the capital. Like they have to share everything. They work hard for it, and then they have to share it all. And where
Yeah.
the capital citizens can just sit back and relax and
And take
do
all
whatever
the
they want.
fun stuff.
all the fun stuff. They get to live a life while the district people get to go and
Like as
work
much as I
and
hate the
hope they don't
capital,
die as a child.
those pies looked pretty awesome. I must say, like,
Yes,
hate the capital
but
pies.
they did look very, very nice.
Yeah.
So while we're on sexualization, there is the
Back to
character of
Finnick. And
yes, and Glimmer.
Glimmer.
Glimmer is a
Oh.
very notable character for sexualization in terms of, especially in the books, when she goes on stage for an interview with Caesar,
her dress is actually see-through,
Yeah.
which obviously you can't show in the film, but
Yeah,
But, like, that's an actual child.
it's an actual child.
That's weird.
And it kind of shows how while people like Finnick and Joanna were forced into prostitution, she's already doing it. So like she's willing to do that if it means she survives, which
Like, that's
fair enough. Like you've got to, you do whatever you can to survive, but it's the fact that she literally went on a stage in a dress that was see-through as a child. Like, it shows how messed up the Capitol really is.
yeah.
And I mean, there's kind of an analogue there in real life in terms of, while we don't do it so explicitly, we do sexualize women,
Yes.
especially, and there's a big correlation to age. I mean, I think we've got the posters of Katniss when she's
Yes.
in Catching Fire when she's a bit younger. She is dressed in regular
And
clothes.
it's
She's not
like,
sexualized.
She's not even the main focus of the
She's
poster.
not even
She's
the
just
main
like in
focus.
the corner, and like she's like, oh, I'm on a mountain. I'm gonna wear something
Yeah.
that's
Covered up
appropriate
with
to
a
wear on a
scarf.
mountain.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably cold.
But then when you get to Catching Fire, it's not Catching Fire. Mockingjay, she's a bit older.
Yeah, and like,
We've
there's,
got
like she's
the
got this like
tight
stretched
red,
out pose,
stretched
and you
out
can
suit,
see
yeah.
everything, and
Like
she's
she's
like
Completely
much more
impractical.
sexualized. Yeah.
just bold, because that's at the point where they've started using her as a propaganda tool.
Yeah.
And even in like the film, they started like putting makeup on her, and then
Mhm.
everyone's like, okay, that's a child. You don't like she's meant to
Yeah.
look like a child. Like, don't do that.
Didn't that go a little bit further in the books as well?
Yeah, with the Capitol stylists being there in 13,
Yeah.
and them just completely overdoing it
Yeah.
because
As the Capitol does.
you know they're styling her as they know how to style her for the games.
Mm-hmm.
But what they really need
They need a
is
styler for the district.
Need to
Yeah.
style for the districts.
something raw, something real,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which the Capitol stylists just can't achieve.
They don't understand it. Real to them is what they're doing. It's just that isn't actually what you should look
No.
like naturally.
No, it's not.
It's after a lot of work and a lot of unnatural colours.
Yeah.
It's a strange world, the Hunger Games world.
Yeah.
It
You
is.
see, I like Sinner.
really
I
bizarre.
think he's a very good, like, he's just a good
He's-
person in
He's
the
the cross
Capitol. He
between
is-
the Capitol. He
because
has Capitol
realistically,
elements.
He's like, his only colour is like his like gold eyeshadow.
Gold eyeliner.
And I think it's really good
Eyeshadow?
because it kind of,
Eyeliner. I don't know.
either way, it's gold.
It's gold.
And it's like, that's his only kind of pop of colour.
Mhm.
And I find that quite interesting because it sets him apart from the rest of the Capitol.
Yeah.
And it shows that realistically that's not where his loyalties lie.
Mhm.
And I just think that's really good.
I do think it's very good. I mean, there is still the Capitol element there. It's almost
Yeah.
like it's shown that he's an inside man by having the gold.
Yes.
He's against the Capitol even though he lives there, so he has to somewhat
be a part of it.
be a part of it.
But reluctantly.
Very reluctantly, yeah.
I feel like it's also worth mentioning the fact that other characters like Snow and even Seneca Crane,
Mhm.
they're not dressed as elaborately, or
Mhm.
Plutarch. You know, they're dressed in their like sleek, simple suits,
Yeah.
and you obviously have Seneca's crazy facial hair, but that's as far as he goes.
Yeah.
And I think it's just sort of showing you the old money versus the new money.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I mean, you have for every President Snow and Hamish, Hamish as well, but he's not Capitol. Plutarch. You have, like I say, he's a flickerman. He changes his hair for every event. He sparkles, he shines. By the way, Stanley Tucci. What a performance and what a great use of star power. Like, they didn't need to get someone like Stanley Tucci.
You can
Tucci
put him in
slays
anything.
every time.
He does.
Stanley Tucci is a fantastic actor. I would watch a movie
Brilliant.
just for Stanley Tucci,
I
which is
would.
what star power is there to do.
Yeah, that's a good
sorry for
example of
shouting.
like personal identity. You'd literally just watch something because someone's in it.
Yeah.
Like
it's-
that's why loads of people watched Don't Worry Darling with Harry Styles in
yeah,
it.
yeah. I went
He's
in it
not
to
an
hope
actor.
Harry was bad, which he wasn't fantastic, but he wasn't as bad as I was hoping he'd
He's
be.
fine.
Yeah.
He's Harry Styles. He's not meant to be an actor.
Yeah.
He can sing. Just leave it at that.
He better do well in Eternals too, though, because I won't forgive him if he ruins that movie.
Eternals is just bad, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, and he better team up with Spider-Man, because now that we're Marvel, I've got to get one in. So
Still
yeah.
have the axle.
Okay.
Remember.
Please don't use it. Please. I don't want to die. Yes.
Back on topic then.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I've got a second chance in life, and I'm not going to waste it. Hopefully. So we've spoke about how some characters are sexualized based on their age, but that's more talking about youth. But then you've also got the
Yes.
other side of things with Mags, especially.
Being one of the oldest, if not the oldest.
She won the
Yeah.
11th games, so the year after Ballad takes place. and I would be very surprised if anyone from Ballad
I think, didn't it say that
earlier
she's
survived.
the only one surviving? She's the last surviving tribute?
I think so.
one?
I'd be very surprised if she wasn't, because we know
She's old.
well, if you've read the books, you know what happens in Ballad.
Yeah.
And the way tributes were treated back then, I'd be very surprised if any of them were alive before Mags.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because without giving too much away, that's sort of where everything changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you've also, so that's a very positive representation of age. You've got like she's loving, she's warm, she's your nana.
Oh.
She
Like-
sacrifices herself for Annie, you
Mhm.
know.
And Finnick
And
ultimately
then
as well.
Finnick.
She sacrifices herself for the cause because in the end she knows.
Because realistically, it's
They
a bit
all
of a
can't get
burden
out.
having to carry around an old woman on
Yeah.
your back when you're trying to not die.
Yeah.
So like, but she gets it. She doesn't
She's
try and
self-aware.
like cling on and like ruin things.
Yeah,
She
she's willing to
accepts
go
it.
when she has to.
Yeah.
But then there's the ones that aren't willing to go when they have to. President Snow,
Yeah.
President Coriolanus Snow, and President
Cockroach
Alma
Snow.
Coin. I mean, Coin and Snow, ironically enough, are two sides of the same coin. In the
See what you did there?
Foreshadowing.
because I mean, they're both the presidents first of all.
Yeah.
But when you first meet them, Coin is the one leading the revolution. She wants equal treatment for all and justice, whereas Snow wants to
Yeah.
oppress you and send you into the games and kill you and your children.
But
Turns
the
out
thing
Coin
is-
wants the same thing, just a different group of children. Like,
God.
it's really dark. Like you can toss a coin, but it doesn't matter what side it's facing. It's still the same coin. It's still worth the same.
Still a child murdering coin.
It's still a
at the end
child
of the day.
murdering coin. Like
Okay. I think
that coin still
That's
wants to
wrong
kill
with-
Rue.
Oh,
Prim.
don't.
I mean, I guess
haven't recovered.
I guess while we're on this thing of like two different characters being basically
Yes,
the same,
The
there's Rue and Prim.
Oh,
Rue is what Prim would have been in the arena,
yeah.
but slightly better off. It's
Yeah,
why Katniss
'cause-
ended up teaming with her, if you ask me. It's because
Prim wouldn't have done anything.
Prim
She's
wouldn't
got
have done
no
anything.
idea what she's doing.
She had no idea. At least
No.
Rue could climb
And like
and forage.
hide and stuff.
Prim would just hide in the corner and wait for
Then
the end,
cry.
I think. Yeah, she'd just
Just
cry.
wouldn't go very well.
She'd dehydrate through crying
Yeah.
before
And
anything
from-
else had
to be
happened.
fair, that would be me, I think, realistically. Oh,
I mean,
I find it quite interesting that in like District 13, they're all very like uniformed. Like
Yeah.
no one has any individuality,
mhm.
and that's a little bit dictatorial as well.
That's
I kind of
it's-
could see it.
it's still a
coming.
dictatorship, but in the complete opposite of
Yeah,
what the
but
capital
like
is.
everyone's pretty happy, but like
This franchise is
they
full
don't
of
know
binary
anything
opposites.
else.
Even the two dictatorships are the complete
Yeah.
opposite of each other.
But and yet still
But
dictatorships.
still dictatorships, and still want to kill your children. It just
Yeah.
depends where you're from.
Makes you think about your own government, doesn't it?
Yes. Watch out.
Hey, at least they don't want to kill you.
Yeah.
Or do they?
Well,
You'd be
less directly,
surprised.
less directly.
Yeah, I mean, Rue as a character is just, she's so lovable.
Oh, just
You-
that little face.
It's so sad.
The
Like,
flowers.
She
I'm-
has the innocence of
Mhm.
Prim, but she
Yeah.
also has like the strong will and the skill of
Yeah.
Katniss, because she is also
She has
the
the
oldest child.
She
of
has
her
the heart
family.
that you need to at least try and survive in the games, whereas I think Prim would have just
Given
caved there and then.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, just in, like, Rue being there, I mean, guess District 11 as a whole, it's the representation of race in the franchise. I mean, chances are, if you see a black person in the Hunger Games, at least if they're not from the capital, they're from District 11 for the
Yeah.
most part. But there's a lot of controversy when Rue was first cast, because she's, what's the expression? I don't want to be racist. Light-skinned.
Light-skinned.
She's light-skinned, whereas like in the books she's just not at all. And then there's a lot of
Yeah.
controversy that Hollywood tends to do that, where if there's a black character, they hire a light-skinned actor.
Katniss was also described as very much like a Native American.
Yeah,
You know,
We get
Jennifer
that
Lawrence.
yeah, we
Yeah,
get that
she's
same
very
description with Lucy Gray.
Yeah.
Which it's just, it is just whitewashing.
Yeah.
You say it all the time. It's not
Yeah.
great, but it
Well, now
happens.
they've started doing the opposite. Oh.
Yeah.
And everyone's not happy about that either.
I know.
Like,
There's
pick a
always going to be someone
side.
who complains, isn't there?
Oh,
Like no one's always going to. No, there's never going to be.
something
You're
that
never
makes
gonna please
everyone
everyone,
happy.
yeah.
Someone's always going to get cancelled
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
it's true. I mean, you have your target audience, and that's who you appeal to. You can't have a target audience of everyone, and
No.
that's where you get your
But like, it doesn't matter who they cast for things. There's always going to be like an oppositional reading
yeah,
to it.
yeah. That's where you get your
just can't
oppositional
avoid
reading
it.
and your negotiated reading.
Nicely done.
Sorry, I just need a minute after that. Negotiated reading, because you're not going to please everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have a problem with
Everyone's
it
got their own opinions.
because
We're all
audiences
gonna be
aren't
annoyed.
really passive. Like
No.
it goes against the hypodermic needle theory of you can just inject your ideas into audience, because there's always going to be someone that has an issue with it.
Yeah.
Like there's more than like it's yeah. There's more than one reading to everything.
Yeah.
It's
Always at least two sides to a coin.
yes, we're going back to the coin thing.
Yeah. Common theme.
I'm going back to the coin theme. But yeah, there's not one target audience because you've got to choose your psychographic,
You can't
age.
have all the psychographics.
You
Nothing's
can't.
going to appeal to all of them.
No, exactly.
But like this,
it's like
I
something
think,
that appeals to the struggler isn't going to appeal to the aspirer and the
Exactly.
succeeder.
like I think Hunger Games very like explorer type,
Mm-hmm.
mainstream.
100%.
It's yeah. That's what they're going for. They're not aiming for the struggler
Yeah.
realistically.
And I mean, the social media campaign that's going on, especially for Ballad, and just the
Oh.
popularity of Hunger Games in overall
Yeah.
right now, it certainly appeals to a mainstream
It's just
audience.
a really good example of like viral marketing. It's
Yeah,
just they're doing
it
really
really is.
good.
I mean, TikTok is such a large platform that everyone
know.
stumbles across something where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't seen something like that
Oh,
before.
that
Then you
trailer's
decide if you're
come out.
interested or not.
And then
That's how
then
it
you're very
targets a
interested.
mainstream audience like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok itself is
Oh,
Well,
it's
a
such
huge
a
user
good
generated
skill for that.
content
yeah a lot of
really
it.
driving the release of this movie.
And then they've actually directly used that themselves by giving the most prominent creators like clips that just say under 2 seconds of
Yeah.
the trailer that's coming. Like of the trailer before it came out in the countdown. It was every 20 minutes they released this new GIF of they released this new GIF of the trailer,
That drove me
and
crazy.
then at what was 11 p.m. for us, the trailer dropped,
Oh,
and it was beautiful.
it was amazing.
It
It's
was
great.
absolutely
I'm so
everything
excited.
we wanted it to be. And I mean,
I'm still
the
very
film's also
scared.
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
me too. I mean, the film's also coming on Netflix, helps you target a mainstream audience because it's in your
Yes.
suggested films.
And the rest of them are all on there, so you can like group them together. It's just
Mhm.
everything
But
you
then,
could want.
both those platforms have an algorithm that decides what you're more interested in.
Yeah.
So it tends to be if you're fit into the Explorer psychographic, that's when you're gonna get the suggestions like the Hunger Games,
Yes.
and that's where your immersion comes from. Your experience, the gratification, Blumler and Katz, of
I don't think you said that right.
diversion.
Yes.
Blumler and Katz, Blumler and Katz.
Bul-
Now
Bulmer?
I've got it wrong. Blumler.
No, there's two. There's
Bulmer
two
and
L's.
Katz?
No,
There's two
there's an
L's.
L. B-L-U-M-L-E-R.
Is there?
Blumler.
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
That's
You're
there
lying to
is.
me.
There's
Saying
a
I'm the one
sign.
resitting Unit 1. Shocking.
Well, you're gonna
You
fail.
should know
You're
these
gonna
things.
fail.
Oh
aren't you,
wow,
then?
okay, thank you. That's really
Oh.
rude. That's not fair. That was completely unnecessary, and I hope you feel really bad about that.
I won't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you won't, I
doesn't
know.
look like it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. No, not going to take it back?
No.
Oh, okay, because I'm failing my Unit 1, guys. That's fun.
Hey, if you're gonna fail, I'm also probably gonna fail.
No, it'll
You're
be
meant
fine.
to know it better than me.
Yeah,
You've
no,
done
I
it
am.
once
I've
already.
had an extra year. You don't need to point it out. It's not great.
Well, no, but you're only resitting it because you're like a nerd. You're not doing it
Yeah,
because
that's
you
true.
failed the first time. So,
I'm going to move on before I keep
Yeah.
getting insulted, if that's
Anyway.
okay. Right,
Aw,
thank
really
you.
enjoying that.
Of course you are. So we've been talking about Ballad and Songbirds and Snakes. This is probably where we're going to get into a bit more of spoiler territory.
yes.
The book focuses a lot more on Snow.
And
And
his
his-
rise to power,
Yeah,
his
his rise to
early
power,
years.
his early years, yeah. And it almost, there's an argument that paints Snow as an anti-hero, and there's a bit of a trend with
Yeah.
that going on right now,
Yeah.
especially with like the likes of Joker. Where is
Ah.
he still a villain or is he anti-hero? Because we have the reason behind his madness, and we feel sorry
so
for him.
likable.
But
In a
at the
weird
s-
way.
it's all Deadpool's fault.
And
We
now
blame
have
Ryan
Snow
Reynolds.
as a hero.
It's always come back
Yeah.
to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it always
Oh.
comes back to Ryan Reynolds. Right, I feel like it's been a while since we've said his name.
I know.
The world revolves around Ryan Reynolds.
The world does
Really?
revolve
He's
around
actually in
Ryan
the
Reynolds.
Illuminati and controls
He is.
everything.
No,
Do
he's
you
not
act
in the
him?
Illuminati, he is the Illuminati.
Isn't
It's
it
just
weird
Ryan
that
Reynolds.
It's
he
just
now
him.
has a
It's
British
just him.
football club.
It's
like,
very
what's
weird.
that about? Did
Yeah.
he get bored?
He
It's
must
just like,
have.
okay, I'll
I-
do that. I
It's
don't understand. It's really odd.
It is
like-
bizarre, but
And
he's
because of that, we don't have Blake Lively at the Met Gala this year, which
Oh,
really upset me.
No, because she's
Shocking.
always the best.
She's great.
I
She's
don't
the
know
only
what she
one
wears at the
who,
Met Gala. I don't know.
Just imagine the best thing ever, and that's what she's wearing
yeah.
every year.
She dresses up as Spider-Man to the Met Gala.
Okay.
That is fantastic.
That's all I'm
Right,
concerned
we
about
got
your
distracted.
overview.
We got we got distracted again.
That was only your like second time, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
That's good.
that's a record.
Yeah. So we're talking about Ballad now. It's before the whole extravaganza of the Capitals. This like the Capitals dress is really weird and colourful because the Capitol's still
recovering
struggling.
from the war.
Yeah,
which-
like the Capitol isn't in a state where it looks like the Met Gala every day right now. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
just a little bit more toned down.
yeah, it's more toned down because
Yeah,
they're all starving. They're all poor. There's literal cannibalism on the streets of the Capitol.
Spoilers.
We've given them a spoiler warning. Ish. If there wasn't, then
Well,
you know,
here's one now.
surprise.
There you go.
So yes, we see the Capitol in a bit more of a destroyed state. It's almost like it's one big district, but then it's still holding on to its capital image,
Yeah.
and it still has power of the districts because,
Like,
Even
even
then
if
you see-
they're as screwed as the districts, they're still in power.
yep, they still have control. They're the least unfortunate.
Even then, you see the class divide
Yeah,
Yeah.
starting.
Even when
then.
there realistically shouldn't be one.
yeah.
'Cause they're all in the same boat.
But then there's like Snow is basically the working class equivalent in the capital, but he's fighting to stay that upper middle class, at least keep the image.
He was one of the upper ruling classes who just so happened to
Mhm.
lose his wealth
Yeah,
and tried to
Yeah.
adjust to
because
that
his
working
family
class
had
life
invested in District 13 instead of District 2.
too.
So their weapons all got destroyed, whereas Sejanus's
Mhm.
family got to get out of District 2 because they were rich and moved to the capital. And that was kind of the first and last time that would ever really happen, as far as we're aware.
Mhm.
Like, it's not very common that people in the districts can move to the capital without killing 23 other children.
Well,
Yeah.
when
But
you look
even-
at how he
even
ended
the
up,
Tributes can't move to the capital. They just get a fancier house
Yeah,
in the actual districts.
Mhm.
So there's even when they win, they're
Yeah.
still
they're still
Divided
poorer than
from
the
them.
poorest in the capital.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. In terms of the districts and where they are, this 12's still very much in a similar place. It's
Yes.
poor, it's coal mining, and it's rebellious. Like Lucy Greybird is basically just Katniss 64 years ago. Like
Oh,
she even bows the same.
I love that was
I love the bow.
improvised. That was
all the
so
little
clever.
details and the Katniss plants, or was it primrose plants in the poster?
I can't remember.
One of the
But
two.
either way, there's still that. It's probably going to be Katniss. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. But like you have that rebellious nature in Lucy Gray. Like the very first time we see her, she's wearing bright colours against everyone else's grey. Like even
Yeah.
Katniss was wearing grey. That's how rebellious Lucy is. She's more rebellious than Katniss ever been.
And that
Like,
is saying
She's
something.
rebellious with purpose.
Yes, she isn't just
Katniss is
accidentally
just a bit
rebellious.
oblivious.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she wears the
Katniss
bright
was
colours. She
just
sings
like,
the songs.
Oh, I'm accidentally the figurehead for
Yeah.
a rebellion. Oh.
Whereas she comes out and she wears the bright colours, she stands out, she
Yeah.
sings the song, she's a performer first and foremost, and she's willing to cheat in the games. She
Oh.
poisons people, and that is Snow's MO. He's poisons. That's where the metaphor of him being the snake against
Oh.
the bird comes from. He's poisonous. You don't want to
And then you think of the
get in his
snake,
way,
it wraps around its victim,
Mhm.
constricting it, and the
Yeah.
songbird
which he does. to the
flying
victim.
free.
Yes,
The dichotomy, the binary opposites all coming together.
yes. Well, Ballad and Songbirds and Snakes comes out this year, and we hope they don't fail miserably because we all love the Hunger
No,
Games.
the trailer's that good. It can't be
trailer
bad.
is
It can't
fantastic.
be. It's gonna be amazing. I'm
Yep.
so excited.
So I think that's all we have to say, and until next time, happy Hunger Games.
And may the odds
Be ever in your favour.
Ciao.